and welcome back to another episode of The Sphere. My name is Annabelle Del Bosque. Joining me today is Jarra Gojolo, Richy Zajic, and Austin Turner. Today we'll be looking ahead to the basketball season and previewing both San Jose State's men's and women's program. Ladies first. San Jose State's women's team finished 6-24 last year, but finished strong, winning 4 of its last 6 games. What areas do you think the Spartans can improve upon, and will they carry that momentum into the season?
As far as the women's basketball team this year, they did have some momentum going, at the end of last season, but obviously it's a brand new year this year. Can't really carry momentum from a previous season, but as far as their improvements this year, I think Tyra Whitehead is going to be a big improvement for them this year. She's a dominant post player. She appeared in 27 games last year, transferring over from Wake Forest. She had double-doubles. Includes a game with 23 points, includes a game 18 and 12. She'll be a big deal for them. And then another improvement that they need to make, obviously, is the turnovers. They averaged 17.2 a game last year, so got to clean that up to get some more wins this year.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Richie, on the turnover front. Ball movement looks to be a big improvement for this team. Last year, their turnover to assist ratio, they had 14 assists per game, 17 turnovers per game. Obviously, that's an issue. It looks like they've improved on it. Their guard play looks good. Danae Marquez is going to get her assists. Tyra Whitehead, like you mentioned, is a big factor in that. A huge body to put in to the paint, easy to feed, and get some buckets. So I think she's going to be a huge part of the team's improvement this year, not only in ball movement but also rebounding. She's a walking double-double, basically. So I think that's going to help them massively in the paint.
Just building on what you just said, Austin, San Jose State, the women's basketball team, had the second worst field goal percentage in the conference last season. They only shot 41%. And I just think it was a combination of a lack of, down low threats and just their tendency to want to shoot threes. So I think the addition of Whitehead is going to bring up their field goal percentage this season.
Definitely.
If you had to make a case from team MVP, who is it and why?
I think we've talked about Tyra Whitehead a little bit. She's going to be huge, like I said, in the paint. But I'm going to go a little bit outside the box. Aziana Basalo looks great this year. She's a go-to scoring threat. She can drive. She's really quick. She's really great at driving to the paint. Her issue would be she's 5'5". She's a point guard, so that's okay. But when her game relies on driving to the paint, that could be an issue when she's facing taller, more athletic bigs, like Boise State has, for example. But she can improve on her playmaking throughout the season, get more assists. I could see her being a good 15 and 5 player this season. She's going to be a huge asset for that guard play.
Yeah, I agree with you that Basayo is going to be obviously a big part, coming to the rotation this year. Probably going to get a lot of points, a lot of assists, like you mentioned, but call me, the basic answer, but I'm going to have to go with Tyra Whitehead on this one. She's just too dominant. She's just too big out there, double machine. She's just going to be feasting out there this year.
And just going back to Basalo, she's a sharpshooter in her only season at Cal Poly. She won 6th Women of the Year in the Big West Conference. She's a sharpshooter, so pairing alongside, Megan Anderson, who's also a sharpshooter. Last game, they combined to shoot 6 of 9 from the three-point line. They're definitely gonna improve in an offense like this where they love taking threes.
Let's play a game. 10 wins for this women's team this season. Over or under? Richie, let's start with you.
10 wins sounds like a doable goal in theory, but I'm going to have to take the under on this one just due to the fact, 6 wins last year. A 4-win jump for this team. I mean, they're looking good with Tyra and everybody on the squad this year, but I'm going to have to go under just due to strength of schedule and I think they'll take little improvements this year, but as far as that big of a jump, I don't think it's going to happen.
I think I'm going to go over. This team looks like an offensive juggernaut in the Mountain West Conference. You have that ball movement that we talked about. Tyra Whitehead, obviously. Megan Anderson stepping it up with the three-pointers. That guard play has been terrific so far. Danae Marquez is going to get her assists. The one issue I do have is the defense on the other side. Whitehead isn't exactly athletic enough to be a great defender in the paint lockdown. The guards struggle guarding, especially around the perimeter. But I think they have enough firepower on offense to be able to outduel some teams with the shooting. It just it all depends on the shots falling down and that playmaking being up to snuff. So I think they'll be hovering around that 10-win mark. I think they'll get it.
And you know what? I think I'm gonna say the over as well. Last game they played against UC Irvine. Irvine, they were picked by coaches to win the Big West Conference. 6 out of 9 first place votes, and San Jose State only lost by 2 points. So I think Whitehead, she proved herself against competition. The previous game she dropped a double-double as well. But you could have made the point that it's just this Division II competition. But you see, like, against a Big West opponent and the favorites at that, they can hold their own, and I think that's going to lead them to an over 10-win season. I'm feeling a little optimistic.
Let's switch it over to the men. Last year was another tough one for Jean Prelot and the Spartans as they went 4-27. What do you think needs to happen for them to turn it around this year?
Again, there's a lot of things that the Spartans can improve on from last year, but I think the main thing is going to be to replace Noah Bauman's production. Out of all the players who have attempted at least 153s in Division I last year, he was 14th in the nation in three-point percentage. Despite that, the Spartans were bottom 3 in the conference in three-point percentage. Subtract his production from it, they only shot 28% last year. So replacing him is going to be crucial for any type of success going forward.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you completely. Noah Bauman was one of the best three-point shooters in the country last year. He shot 45% from 3. They were a 4-win team even with that production. So they're going to have to get three-pointers from somewhere. I'm not really sure where that's going to be. Seneca Knight only shoots 32% from the field. I can't see him replacing that. Bray Ivy, 32% three-point shooter. He's going to have to step it up big time. So what needs to happen is they're going to need to find a shooter to replace Bauman. They're going to need to find 2 shooters that can replace Bauman. I'm not sure who that is. Richard Washington's going to be a great shooter. He's going to be the main scoring threat for this team, but he doesn't have the range that Bauman had. So they're going to need to find that production somewhere. If they can't shoot threes, then the paint's going to be clogged. They're going to have a hard time to score. They're also going to need better play from their bigs. Samuel Jafet Matthias is going to be starting for them at the 5 this year. He's not a stretch big by any means. He's not going to be able to shoot. He's going to be clogging the paint mostly. He's not super athletic, so I don't know if they're going to be able to get the scoring production needed from him to be able to keep up and improve this season. I just think that they're going to need a lot of scoring. I'm not sure where they're going to get it from.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of you guys. Bauman's obviously a huge loss. Stedman, another huge loss. They were the 2 best players for the Spartans last year, and they really couldn't get much worse. So this year is really just going to be about improvements, seeing who can do what. It's just all about experimentation. Prelo just needs to put out different lineups, see who works, who doesn't. Obviously, you mentioned Richard Washington. Last year, coming from Tallahassee Community College, he averaged 16.6 points a game, so that should be some sort of help. But as far as this season goes, it'll just be about small improvements, just like the women, but I don't really see them replacing that scoring.
Speaking of Washington, I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be able to replace that production that Stedman had, that scoring right there. And also defensively. He's going to be great defensively. He has a good mid-range shot, but like we said, he can't shoot the 3 as well as Bauman did, so I don't know where they're going to get that production from.
There are 8 returning players on this team. Who makes a jump and improves the most?
I'm going to have to go with sophomore guard Zach Chappelle. Last year, he started the last 9 games of the season. I don't know why he wasn't starting before, because he was really relatively killing it for the Spartans at least. 8.4 points a game, 4.4 assists. He looks like a guard that can dish, score. I think he needs to get a wealth of minutes this year from Prelo.
I can't agree more than that. Zach Chappelle's going to be a huge player for them. He's a great playmaker. He even showed he could score a little bit towards the end of last season. I'm not sure where he's going to fit in that lineup. I think he should be starting probably over Bray Ivy at that point guard spot. I'm not sure what Prelo is going to do. We're going to have to see. Speaking of Bray Ivy, he's going to need to step it up as well. Like we said, he's the highest three-point shooter. He's the best three-point shooter returning to this team. He only shot 30, 31, 32% from 3. So I know he's been working on his shot all over the summer. I know he's hungry for it. Let's see if he could step it up. Bray Ivy, also another underrated aspect of his game is his defense. He's crucial defensively guarding, the quick point guards. in the Mountain West. So I think if Bray steps it up, this team will improve, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you too. Zach Chappelle, he's going to make a big jump this season with the departures of two of our other former main contributors. He had the best assist to turnover ratio of any major contributor last year. Also, Craig Lassen, big man. He'll probably get more minutes with the departure of Stedman. He was second on the team in rebounds last year, and he also was third in assists last season. So maybe we'll see a jump in production from him as well.
Another guy I don't want to forget to mention, can't really sleep on Seneca Knight this year. I mean, obviously he didn't shoot well last year, but he was a freshman jitters, probably don't shoot the ball too well, but he did still average 6.2 points a game in just 20 minutes, so I think as long as Prelo steps up, gives him the minutes that he deserves, I think he'll be a productive player for them this year.
You mentioned Craig Lassane at that power forward slot. I think it'll be Christian Anigwe that'll be starting at that spot, and I think he will also step it up. As I found out over the offseason, he was battling a knee injury throughout a lot of last season. I think he'll be improved, especially defensively. He's a huge player for them. His scoring should improve as well. He's a decent shooter for his size. So look for Christian Anigwe to play some major minutes this year.
Same game as the women's team. Over or under 10 wins and why, Jarra?
I'm going to have to say under. I'm sorry. 4 wins last year, 2 main contributors gone this year. It seems like it's not really the direction that we've seen so far. I think this is going to be a year to try and find that direction. So I'm going to have to say under 10 wins.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's gonna be a big under for me this year. With the schedule including people like Arizona, UCLA, Stanford, I think it's gonna be a rough one for the Spartans this year. But I mean, it's possible that they take a huge jump. It's just realistically, I don't see it happening.
Agreed. I'm going under. I don't even think the wins and losses matter for this season, honestly. If you're a Spartan fan, don't worry about that. It's gonna be a lot of losses. They play a brutal out-of-conference schedule. Really, if you're a Spartan fan, what you want to look for is no players transferring at the end of the season. That is more important in my eyes. You want to keep players like Richard Washington every year. You want to keep players like Seneca Knight, Zach Chappelle, all the young guys. You want them to buy into Coach Jean Prelot and buy into this program. You do not want them to transfer. That's more important to me for building this program than going 10 and whatever this season.
That'll do it for today. Thanks for watching and keep your eyes on the Sphere for more San Jose State basketball coverage. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Sphere SJSU and like us on Facebook at The Sphere. Have a great day.